You guys have a goal to do 100 countries before 30. That's so cool.
I think this year we went to 6, so it's not too many.
When you do come back to your home base, how do you guys save up money?
We have a few retainer sponsors. They will always pay, and there's a few affiliate programs. Now we're also selling ebooks. To get 5-star hotels means you need to post really high quality. When I start, if I'm just looking for like sponsored stays, if I message like 300 hotels, I probably will only get 1 or 2. But now from 100 hotels, I can get at least 5. Is it going to be your first time to Japan or? Oh, it's going to be your first time. Okay. So a little tip, you will need a few cash. I think Wise has a really good currency change. I have a bunch of eSIMs here and you just change. But it's good because you can really connect to internet as soon as you land.
How's your week been?
It's okay. It's a bit busy because next week I'm going to Japan and we're just preparing some of the travel plans, and then I'm preparing some content to post as well. So I don't need to like rush into editing when I'm there.
What's your
Yeah.
posting schedule like?
For TikTok, it's um minimum of 5 a week for short content. Yeah. And for YouTube, just once a week.
I see. And how
Mm.
long have you been posting on TikTok for?
For TikTok, I think it started in 2021
Oh,
during, yeah, there was a lockdown happening in Taiwan. It was only 3 months and I got bored. But
mm.
at first, it wasn't travel content. I was just posting random stuff.
Oh. So you've been at this for quite some time, like 3 years.
Yeah, but for I started focusing on travel content probably just last year.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that when your follow account sort of boomed?
Mm.
Oh. And then were you already with your partner, your boyfriend at that time, and were you already traveling beforehand, or did you start traveling a year ago?
Hmm. Let me think. I started traveling a year ago. Yes.
Oh. So that means,
Y- Yeah, yeah. Just a year ago. In Before that, me and my boyfriend we travel a lot, but inside Taiwan. Like, because it's easy to travel in the island. But we started going overseas in September last year.
wow. And how old were you guys when you started doing overseas trips?
How old?
Mm. Your age.
Um, mm, I was 23, 22, 23, yeah.
And
And he
then
was 1 year older, so.
I see. And then were you guys, I think you mentioned you were freelancing in Taiwan. Do you live in Taiwan?
I used to live in Taiwan, and last year I started my very first year of full-time freelance. Yeah, so
And what type of freelance work was it, Vanessa?
it's a marketing freelance. Yes, so I'm doing marketing for a few companies, doing their social media marketing.
And how did you, yep, we were sort of jumping right into it. We were
Okay,
recording.
so we're starting the podcast already.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I thought
Uh,
there would be like an intro or something.
yeah, I guess Vanessa, how I first came about you, I think I was on Instagram and I was just scrolling through, and that's how I came across your content. I think I had a food blogger on my podcast, and I think through her suggested following your account popped up. And that's how I first came about you. And I've always wanted to have a traveler influencer on and ask how they do it, how they get sponsored gigs, their travel plan. So that's how I first came across you, Vanessa.
Oh, so through Instagram.
Yes.
Oh, I see. Okay, I was curious about that, like which, because I'm on a lot of platforms, and I'm just curious which platform you found me from. Yeah.
So I found you on Instagram. And then, yeah, you're right. You post really consistently. Do you just have like a backlog of content? Do you ever run out of content ideas? Like how do you edit all your videos?
Mm-hmm. Ran out of content. It's for ideas, no, because it's really easy to come up with the idea,
Mm,
but sometimes I don't really have the time to edit, and that's when I just edit the day. Usually that happens when I'm traveling. Right now, because I'm just staying in my base, so I have more time, and we have like a backlog of 2 weeks. So originally, that's like the ideal way. I think you should have at least 2 weeks of content ahead, so you don't get too crazy or rushed. Do I edit the video myself? I do send to my editor sometimes for short content, but not all the time because I do still enjoy editing it. And especially if I'm just in my base, I do most of it myself. But for YouTube video, it's all the editor. I don't do any videos at all.
got it. To make it worth it for you to hire and pay an editor, does that mean you have sponsors on your videos, or do a lot of the videos make no money, but your time is worth more somewhere else?
Of course, at first when I began YouTube, I still have a lot of freelance jobs. So I use that money to pay for the editors. But along the way, as I grew my channels, we do have a few sponsors. And what else? YouTube is also I monetized my YouTube. So yes, we have earnings that can pay all the operations and pay the editors for sure.
Got it. And that's so cool that you guys have sponsors, Vanessa, because I would have thought you would need hundreds of thousands of followers and subscribers to get sponsors, but you've been able to get sponsors with sort of a niche following. How did you go about getting sponsors?
Actually, my very first paid gig, it was when I only have 5,000, like 6,000 followers on TikTok. So my main platform now is TikTok. It's where I have the most followers. I think it's 29,000 now. And I was shocked, like, oh wow, somebody reached out to me when I had only 6,000. And that was, I think, last year. And that's when I thought, oh, maybe I can do this full time because it pays well. And with just little following, I already have like paid gigs. And to do it, I do reach out a lot. The more you reach out, the more chances you have to know these brands and them knowing you as well.
Got it. And with your outreach, do you just email a bunch of different travel brands? Do you just get their customer at patagonia.com and do you just email them? Like, what's the strategy for outbound? And yeah,
Mm, we do have like a database whenever we want to reach out. So we have different type of brands to reach out and we categorize them because we have like the template for the script. And yeah, usually it's just random travel brands. And if I see them on Instagram, I'll just save their brand. And when I have the time, I'll reach out to them and see how they respond, what type of collaboration they're open at. And I'll see if I do think the product is good and I think my audience will love it, then we will negotiate the partnership and then, finally do a video about their brand.
got it. And then is it usually Instagram DMs or email? What's your preferred, what has been working best when it comes to getting sponsors outbound?
Both Instagram DMs and also emails.
Okay.
Yeah, because you never know which platform the brand will respond first or fastest.
Got it. And would you know your average percentage? Like, for example, if you reach out to 100 brands, how many of them would be open for paid collaboration?
Mm, I don't know the percentage, to be honest.
Mm.
Yeah. But it gets easier the more you grow.
I see. And then if you reach out to a brand, let's say Patagonia once, and they don't reply, do you ever follow up or, yeah,
Yeah, I think you can follow up twice, but that's like the maximum. If they don't respond, then probably they won't.
I see. So when you were at 6,000 followers on TikTok, you got your first sponsored gig and they reached out to you. Like, how much was it and what was the deliverable?
Mm, I'm not too comfortable to share the numbers.
Mm.
Um, the deliverable, it was only one short video. Yes. And I think it was quite a lot, especially I was freelancing back then. And I think this was a really good deal. Yes.
Okay. And then when you're freelancing, Vanessa, how'd you go about getting freelancing gigs? Were you just on Upwork, Fiverr? How were you able to, yeah.
Actually, no, because I used to work in a co-working space and there was a lot of people there. Before that, I was working in a marketing agency, so I've known quite a few people. And when they know I was freelancing, they hire me. So it's purely through my network. It's not through any platform.
Mm, got it. Oh, okay. And I guess you were just doing part-time hours, like maybe 5 hours, 10 hours a week for different companies, and
Yeah.
was this all in Taiwan?
I was working in Taiwan, but all the companies, they're from different places. So I worked with a company in Singapore before and once in the States.
And
I think a few in the States, yeah.
and did you meet the owners or people in the company through your co-working space?
Yes. Or it's a friend of a friend.
And then I guess what was your main expertise? Was it marketing? Was it doing social media, creative, running ads?
Social media marketing. So I just run their Instagram or uh their LinkedIn.
Got it. And then I guess tell me about your journey from freelancing to then quitting and going travel full time. Like when did that transition happen and how did it happen?
It happened in September. So, one of the company I'm working in Singapore, I worked with them for almost a year, but then they had to rebrand and they had to stop marketing. And there was also the time where I was going to travel to China in October and I need to take quite a long break. So I thought this is going to be the shift where I just quit all my freelance projects and start full time. Yes, because the goal was to save quite a lot, and it's also the reason why I moved back to Indonesia. Because then I don't need lifestyle here. It's not too costly if you compare to other countries. So I think this is where I can just not spend a lot during my living, and then we can travel more. Me and my boyfriend, we can just travel more.
And then did your boyfriend, did he also quit his job and everything as well to do this?
Yes, actually, he's a software engineer. Yeah, and we both quit our jobs and moved back to Indonesia and just start new.
Got it. And will your boyfriend be creating content and social media himself as well, or will he be focused on your sort of social media and focusing on that?
No, we'll be focusing only on my platform.
Mm.
Yeah, it was actually quite, we don't know whether we should rebrand at first because I already have like the name, the brand, and everything before he joined. And both of us, we both agreed that it's going to be a bit risky to rebrand. And his like I mentioned, he's a software engineer, so he's not really the type that likes to be in front of the camera, but he loves to do the planning and he actually writes almost all of my scripts. Yes. So we do have like our own jobs and I do things sometimes he's like the manager because he do most of the planning and everything and I do the creatives.
Mm. Tell me about the script writing. Do you script write all your shorts? And is it because you're trying to tell a story? And do you have many 3 second hooks that you choose from? Tell me about your script writing process.
Yes, for script writing, most of the time I just add the topics and Notion. My boyfriend, Leonardo, he will write the script. Like, I don't know how he does it, but he will write it. But we do try to incorporate storytelling and the hook, it really made a difference. So we have a hook library and we'll just take it from there. And also for me, if you have a hook that works, just reuse it.
Got it. Can you tell me, like, what's a hook library? And are there some examples of hooks that have been working for you?
Yeah, there's quite a few. Like hook library is if you see a viral video in social media and you can see their hook, if it's like a trending hook or if you think that is what made you want to watch the video, you just save it. Save it like for me, it's just like a bunch of notes and we save it. And also sometimes we took the time to brainstorm for hooks. And examples, for me, the hook never pay full price in like which country that will definitely have a lot of use. Or like POV stuff, like POV, you visited the best waterfall in Indonesia, something like that. Usually people love that a lot.
And then I guess, like, let's say in a month you might post 20 pieces of content. Out of the 20 pieces of content, how many of them would have a sponsor? How many of them would have no sponsor? Yeah.
Mm, it also depends on whether if I just traveled, usually there will be a lot of sponsored content because I work with a lot of hotels. Like this month, I think like 80% of my content is sponsored. So it's quite, yeah, it's quite busy.
And then did you just come back from a international travel trip, or is this for the upcoming international travel trip?
I just come back from Java, like I think 3 weeks ago. We traveled uh Java Island, so from the middle to the east. It took us 3 weeks, so it was after that we went back to I went back to my hometown, Makassar, Indonesia, and then Leonardo, he lives in Jakarta. So we just work remotely together.
Wow. And when you did that Java Island, what country is Java Island from, Vanessa?
Indonesia.
Indonesia. Okay. When you guys did the Java Island for 3 weeks, were you able to get all the accommodation sponsored, all the food, the flights? Did you end up having to pay for anything for that trip, or was it all covered by different sort of sponsors and companies?
We had to pay for the flights. Yes,
Mm.
but the hotels they're all covered, and for food, sometimes the hotels will give you like food, but sometimes we just go out and eat by ourselves.
Got it. And then were there some gigs where you just got free accommodation versus some gigs where you got free accommodation plus you got paid on top?
For accommodations, most of the time it's just barter. So we got free and then we'll create one video for them, one or two.
I
Yeah.
see. And I guess as a travel vlogger, how do you guys then make money? If it's mainly barter, when do you guys get opportunity to sort of, I guess, make money to cover, I don't know, maybe insurance or flight tickets? How do you make money while traveling?
Mm, there's so sponsors, the paid one, there's not just hotels. They can be products, brands, eSIMs, or what else? Um, experiences. And also, we have quite a few affiliate programs we're joining right now, and we do earn quite a bit from that, and also from YouTube.
Mm.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of like small income streams, but they can, after you grow, they can really support you.
Wow. Tell me, I know you have the upcoming Japan and China trip. Tell me about the planning that goes into that. Like, are you literally planning day by day? Do you have all the hotels that you've gotten sponsored already lined up? Yeah, how do you plan it when it's just such a long trip? Like, if you lose or there's one mistake, all of a sudden everything in front will now be delayed.
Yeah, that's true. We do plan things specifically. It's mostly Leonardo's job to plan itineraries, but most of our itinerary are very specific. But during commute days, we take it as a rest day where we just back up our data and edit some videos and just chill. But for now, we've been quite lucky enough that we haven't had like an unfortunate day where everything will turn like crazy or anything, but I know it's easy to happen and we hope it won't happen.
Got it. And then how do you go about getting the sponsors for, I guess, China and Japan? Do you spend a whole day just scraping emails and finding emails for every single hotel and provider and all the activities and then organize on an Excel sheet? And then I guess you then do email blasts to each different category. Is that the strategy?
Yeah, then yeah, just that we have like a database in Notion, and um, Leonardo will find the emails and I will do the email.
Yeah.
So it's just that, and probably spend like 2 weeks. That's from the start, like emailing to following up once and then following up twice.
Wow. And then how many categories would there be? I guess there'll be accommodation, activity, food. Are those the three, or what are the categories that you have?
We don't really do food. We focus, the first part is accommodation. Once we're done with that, we'll see if there's any activities that we need sponsored. But most of the times we're okay to pay. And also there's a lot of platforms that can cover you for activities. So you don't really need to, I don't really need to look for it. Yeah, we mainly focus on accommodation because they are the one that costs most.
I see. Okay, that's so cool. And I guess, do you have any tips for creators when it comes to getting amazing, like I guess 5-star accommodation or very nice spots? Do you have any advice on how to increase your chances of getting a yes?
I think first it comes to your content. Like whether you're posting like a high quality content or a lower quality production, five-star hotels, they really focus on the quality. Yes. So number one is increase the quality of your content if you want five-star hotels. Because to get five-star hotels means you need to attract people that want to spend a lot of money, and they will only want to do that if you post really high quality. Yes. And number two is the more you grow, the easier it gets. That's just really how it is. I think the first time when I start, if I'm just looking for like sponsored stays, if I message like 300 hotels, I probably will only get one or two. But now that I grew quite the number, I think like from 100 hotels, I can get at least five. Yes, so it gets a lot easier the more you grow.
And then with your emails, are you sending each email one by one? Do you use like a email CRM, or do you just BCC everyone? How do you go about sending out 100 emails
Sending one by one.
one by one?
Yes,
And then,
because we tried CRM, but I don't think it's human yet.
mm,
Yes, and we're worried because of that it will go to the spam folder. So we just do it one by one.
and when you do it one by one, do you change anything, or is it the same template?
No, you have to personalize them.
Oh.
Yes, so it can take a lot of hours to do it.
And I guess, what type of personalization would you usually do? Let's say you are emailing, I don't know, what's a popular hotel? The Marriott Japan, or the Marriott Tokyo. What would you customize when you email them specifically?
Number one is get the name right. Like, don't just say hotel. Change it to like the name of the brand you're pitching to. And two is try to look at their website and see what they're focused on, whether they're like a leisure hotel or a business hotel or they're just a budget hotel. So you have to have that in your script so they know that you understand their brand.
Okay, that's so cool. And then I guess when it comes to getting like the like 5-star hotels, I guess do you like to, in the email, are you showing examples of previous hotels that you've worked with? Be like, hey, this is a hotel with work. This is what the video is. This is how many views it got. Or are you focused on showing your follower count and showing how much followers you are? What do you usually emphasize when it comes to trying to convince accommodation to say yes?
So the rule is you have to send over your media kit. That's when where it's like a PDF file where you have everything from your following count, your demographics, and then your, for me, I have a lot of my previous work. Yes. So yes, of course you have to show them. It's like if you're applying for a job, you give them your CV, but for creators, you have to have a media kit.
Got it. And then I guess, what are you trying to sell them? Are you trying to sell them a high quality video? Are you trying to sell them that if you make a video, it's going to get 10,000 views and they're going to see a lot of people? Are you trying to sell them, hey, we'll tag you so you get a lot of followers? What do you usually try to sell them?
I don't ever promise them views because that's not something that I can control. I think what I sell them is to have your hotel in my platform because I show them the demographics, like the people that are watching, where they're from. Usually, it's also their target audience. I think that is what attracts them the most.
Got it. And then I remember you mentioned earlier, on your off days, you have like a backup process where you go ahead and back up your files. What's that like? Do you upload everything to the cloud using, I guess, the hotel's Wi-Fi, or do you have like a SD card that stays in like a separate bag that is only for backup? What's your backup process like, Vanessa?
Yeah, we use SSD.
Hmm.
Yes, because I think for cloud, you need internet to access them, and it's probably quite slow if you want to download. So we have a few SSD, which is I didn't think about this before starting into like the creator business. Now that we know we need it, it's quite expensive because we spent 2 terabytes in less than a year. Like that's how big, and we need a new one actually. We're thinking to buy either 2 or 4 terabytes, but we don't know like which one is better because it's scary if you lose like a 4 terabyte comparing if you have like 2 terabyte
Mhm.
SSD. I don't know if you understand what I mean. It's like,
And
yeah. And
like,
the price is quite expensive for one SSD.
and then for example, your current 2 terabyte SSD that's nearly full. When you go on the Japan and China trip, will you carry that along, or will you leave that at home?
No, we always carry it with us.
Oh, so that means you always carry old footage with you.
Yes.
Oh, and I guess it's because it will allow you to back edit if you need old footage, you can access it. Is that why?
Yeah, sometimes uh we need some of the footages or I don't know, we just bring it along with us all the time.
Nice.
It's very small and lightweight, so it doesn't really make a difference.
Got it. So that means when you travel, when you buy another 4 terabyte, you'll be traveling with 6 terabyte everywhere you go.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, and then do you ever back up the SSD, or is the SSD your only copy of that footage?
So all the backup just go to SSD and yeah, we'll delete it in other places.
Got it. So that means your 2 terabyte SSD you have right now for the last year of content, that's your only copy of footage. If you lose that, you lose the last
Yeah.
year's forever.
Yeah.
Wow, I see. And then I guess are you filming mainly on your phone? Do you guys use like a camera? What do you usually shoot with?
For short content is mostly my phone. And for YouTube, we have two main cameras. One is a Sony CV-E10 and the other one is a DJI Osmo Pocket 3. Yes. And if we have like action stuff, we have like the action cameras.
Got it. And every time you guys back up, do you take the footage from all those cameras, put it into the SSD, and then delete it from the camera and delete it from your phone and just put it in the SSD?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Correct.
And then one thing I found really annoying is every time I travel, the timestamps of the footage sometimes is not correct, or if there's daylight saving, it's an hour behind, or it's not in sync with the action camera. Do you ever fall into that issue where the timestamps aren't correct when you're traveling overseas or moving around?
Oh. No, actually. So does that affect your videos in any way?
It doesn't affect the videos, but it makes it hard to organize. Like, let's say I have GoPro, G7X, iPhone, and I put it all in one folder. I want to sort in order from the morning to the night. I wouldn't be able to sort it in order.
Mm-hmm. No, I never had the problem.
Oh,
Does
interesting.
it not change to your new time zone or?
I think the iPhone might have a delay where it will keep the old time zone until it gets Wi-Fi at the new country.
Mm, yeah, yeah.
Sometimes my G7X, the daylight saving kicks in or something where it's like an hour behind. But I guess I always have to manually check. And then with the iPhone, sometimes the photo and then the live video, you know how you can take live photos and it will give you a .heic file and a .mov file. Sometimes those two
Yeah.
files are not the same time for whatever reason. But interesting that you guys, yeah, I guess that hasn't been an issue for you guys, which is good.
Yeah, I think it happened to my DJI once. But then we updated it and there's no problem.
Mm.
We did like a firmware update or something.
I see. Tell me about the goal. You guys have a goal to do 100 countries before 30. That's so cool. What had you got? What motivated that goal?
I don't know, it's just cool if you said you visited 100 countries, and we do love traveling that much. And for now, we see it, we're going to do this for a very long time. And I think it's just nice to have a goal. Like it's going to be fun once you reach it. Yeah, but I don't know how to do it actually. It's quite hard and ambitious.
Yeah, because like if you're like maybe 24 right now, so that means you have 6 years. I don't know how many countries you have left. Let's say 80. So you're gonna have to do like 10 to 12 countries a year.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think this year we went to six, so it's not too many. We need to do more next year to reach that goal.
Have you ever been able, because I know accommodation's quite expensive, but flights are quite expensive, and I guess travel, like trains, bullet trains in Japan, would cost like $100 to big cities. Have you ever gotten that side of things sponsored?
Flights no, but bullet trains yes.
Oh, that's so cool. Have you gotten all the bullet trains in Japan covered already?
Just some of it, yes.
And then I guess for them a deliverable would be like a video about the experience and how it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because I always would have thought trains might be hard because it's a bit more corporate and government, but it seems like they do sponsorships, which is very cool.
But it's not from the government. Mostly it's from the platform selling the ticket.
Oh, I see. That's very smart. Oh, and then I guess yeah. Tell me about the upcoming Japan and China trip. Like, why did you pick those countries? How did it become? Yeah, like yeah.
For Japan, we went to Japan early this year, January, and it was my second time, was Leonardo's first time, and we just love it so much. And after a year of traveling, we realized Japan is the only place that we want to go back. Like
Mm.
we are so waiting for it to like to go back because we just love everything about Japan, the food, the people, the atmosphere, the 7-Eleven. So that's why we thought we should go back. And the other reason is because most of our Japan content they perform pretty well. And also we're chasing the winter because people love winter content. And that's why for this Japan trip, we're going to Sapporo in Hokkaido. And for China, I think we went to China first time in September. And same reason, the content, they all perform well. We get a lot of followers just from posting a few videos. And also, to be honest, the places that we went in China, they're all pretty remarkable. Like, it's not something that you think are real. It's like something that's in the future. So it's quite crazy. Yeah. And that's why we're going back to those two countries. We never go back to a country before. for filming, but we decided these two are good for our business, for our creation business. And yeah, I think people just love to watch China and Japan content. And I do think these days a lot of people wants to go to China. Yeah, I don't know how is it in Australia, but in Asia here, a lot of people are going to China, especially to Chongqing and Chengdu or Zhangjiajie.
Yeah, I think in Australia, a lot of people want to do Japan. Japan is very popular.
Yeah.
I think Bali is very popular.
Yeah.
Vietnam is very popular. But I think China may be slowly getting there. But I guess the three I initially mentioned, those are probably the most popular Asia spots that Australians want to go to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then I guess, yeah, it's very long-term thinking where you pick these two countries because you know the content does well, it'll help you grow your following. It wasn't for like a financial reason. It wasn't because you had a sponsor that's gonna sponsor the trip or pay you to travel to the country. You're doing it just because you know it'll grow your following, which is very long-term thinking, which is really good.
Yes, I think you, because now we're doing it full time and we really need to survive and we really need this to work. So we really try to think the business side of things, like which country are our audience most resonate to, and which country will help us grow faster. So these two are, I think, going to be the two that will help us.
If you had the option between going to a country that you would get more growth, more views, but it's going to be more expensive for you guys versus going to a country that probably will get less views, less followers, but maybe you got some paid gigs there, so it'll be cheaper, which option will you choose?
Hmm. I think if I know it will help me grow, then I will choose the more expensive one because it's more like an investment
Hmm.
and I know it will work.
Hmm.
Yeah, for the other choice, if I know it won't really work, then I don't think I will have the motivation to even film. Yeah, because it really hurts if you only have like a few hundred views and you've done everything you can to raise the views and you work super hard and you don't get the result that you want. That really hurts.
Yeah. Given that you guys are doing this full time and you really need to make it work, has there been a plan or strategy? Do you have like I guess like a plan for the next 6 months or 12 months on how you guys will be able to, I guess, financially make it work where you can cover all your expenses and keep going forever?
Hmm. For now, the plan is we're going to Japan in January and then China in February. And I think they will give us quite a lot of content for a few months. And we will stop traveling for a while because we have been traveling every month last year, every month or every 2 months, and we just needed a break. And also, they will save us quite some money if we just stayed in our bases or stayed somewhere in Indonesia. And probably in April or May, we wanted to move to Bali and just slowly stay there. And for next year, we probably will only travel Southeast Asia after China and Japan. But I don't know, like my plan always change and things came up, so I'm flexible if things change as long as it's for the good.
Got it. When you go about, let's say you do the Japan and China trip, you come back home, you have a backlog of content, you just stay at Indonesia for a few months to work, save up money, and just edit content. During that period when you're home base, do you plan, or is it a good strategy to start doing outreach and finding sponsors to integrate into the backlog of content? Is that something you do, or does that not work?
Mm, I don't think we really do that. Yeah, but I we do have a few sponsors that are retainer. So
Oh.
we will need to post content about them every month. Uh yeah, we don't really plan on like incorporating them to this uh content we took. Usually if we want to reach out, we will do it before the trip, not after.
Oh, I see. Because I guess when you do come back to your home base, say in Indonesia, how do you guys save up money? Because now that you guys aren't working, you're just editing content and uploading content. I guess you can get some money from the YouTube because that will generate money. But and then if you get sponsored, you would have to travel again. But if you're staying in your home base resting, how do you guys save up money when you're not traveling?
Um, we have a few retainer sponsors, like I mentioned, so they will always pay, and there's a few affiliate programs. So that's where we get our revenue from. And now we're also selling eBooks from our travels, and we are creating them and we're selling them on our website. Right now we only have the China ebook, but it will grow. We'll probably make more like Indonesia or Taiwan or Japan. Yeah, so we do have some income stream from the ebooks.
Got it. That's so cool. So that means when you're back in your home base and you're just editing content and posting content, you're getting views. And I guess all that views will bring to your page and they'll click your link in your bio and they'll either purchase your ebook or they might click on the affiliate links like Klook or something. And that can generate sort of, I guess, passive income.
Yes.
Wow. Between the ebook and affiliates, what would make a larger percent or what would make more?
I think for now it's still the affiliates because I just launched the ebook like 2 weeks ago.
Nice. And then I guess when it comes to getting sponsored gigs, whether it's just a one-off post or retainers, yeah, how do you get retainers? Is it something that you pitch or is it something that the company pitches to you? How do you get retainers rather than just one-off paid posts?
At first, they reached out to us. We did one gig together, and then it performed pretty well. And I pitched them the idea like, we want to work for a year. We're going to a few countries this year, so we can just promote you everywhere. And thankfully, they say yes. Yeah, we were super happy when they said yes because it was also there's this brand. It was our first retainer, and then after that we do pitch a lot of retainers to a few companies, and they do. A lot of them said yes because for marketing, it's hard for you to expect results with just one content.
Oh, okay. So the strategy would be you first do a one-off post. If it does well and they're happy, then you pitch a retainer.
Yes, I think you can try that definitely.
Wow. Um, Another question I had, when traveling, how do you go about packing? Do you like to travel with like the backpacker or just everything in a big giant thing? Do you like suitcases? Do you travel empty suitcase to have space to buy and add things in? What's your packing style?
Suitcase, definitely. We're not backpackers. We never tried backpacking before because especially most of our trips are quite long. It's like 3 weeks to 1 month. We do suitcase, just one. And we try to leave it at least 30% empty in case we need to buy anything. But because we don't want to spend too much, usually we don't buy that much.
And then I'm also going to Japan in Jan, and I know it's going to be cold. And I know, you know, jackets and puffer jackets take up a lot of space. I guess I could just bring one and wear the one for the whole trip or the 2, 3 weeks. Do you usually bring just one jacket, one cargo pants, one shoe, or do you like to have two of those things, or what's the quantity?
For jackets, I will bring two
Mm.
because you never know, like what if it rains or something. And I just, to be honest, it's quite hard, still hard for me to pack light. And yes, especially because we're packing for winter. And now I'm just struggling. Like yesterday night, I was packing and then, oh no, I think I don't have much space anymore. So I don't know, maybe I need to bring a bigger suitcase. I still haven't figured that out yet.
How about
'Cause yeah, I don't like to wear like the same thing every day. If Leonardo, he can do that because he don't really care. He has like five of the same t-shirt anyways.
yeah.
So yeah, I think it's quite hard to pack light, especially for me. I have quite a lot of skincares, which is
Mm.
quite annoying because they're quite heavy. Even if you buy like the light ones, like the makeup and skincare, there's no way I don't bring them.
How about footwear? Because I end up always doing like hiking shoes, sneakers, and sandals. So now I have three.
I only always bring one pair of shoes, and
Okay.
it will be like the sneaker.
Hmm.
Yes.
And then do you bring sandals or anything or no?
I think to Japan later, no, because it's winter. I don't think I will ever, yeah. But last time when I was traveling Java Island, I do bring a wet shoe because we do a lot of like hiking and some of them are muddy and there's waterfalls. So it depends. But for this Japan trip, I'll just use one sneaker.
Okay. And then when traveling with a partner, after 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, do you guys ever get on each other's nerves, or are you guys just in sync and it's you can travel forever and there's no issues?
Mm, to be honest, we never fight.
Wow.
Yeah, it's actually, yeah, it was quite weird at first, but both of us, I think one, we're pretty like stoic and I think we're quite good at communicating. Like if we don't like anything, we just say it. Yes, but until now, we never get in each other nerves.
That's so cool. Okay. And I guess, Vanessa, over the last 6 months, or I guess over the last, since you've quit your job since September, what has been your main focus?
My main focus is to grow the channel, and we have successfully increased the quality of the content. So usually I think it's like lower production quality, but now we try to increase the quality. So we take a lot of pictures with our camera and we take a lot of drone footages, which we find that drone footages, they tend to perform well. And I think main focus is to increase the quality and just try to grow.
And is this just for YouTube specifically, or YouTube and TikTok?
No, it's all the platforms. So it's YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. And plus, also we are trying to produce more blog posts and also selling the ebooks. So it's really a lot of things at once.
And when it comes to trying to grow the accounts, what's the most important? Is it the video idea? Is it the hook? Is it just something that you want to tell because you just really like this story or something that happened? Well, I guess what gives the most growth you found?
Mm, I think number one is definitely the hook, and two is the value. So your video, I do think you have to give some sort of tips or something that's valuable enough for your viewers to share or save. So I do give a lot of tips, a lot of like how to get here, how to get there, what do you need to prepare, and those kind of content, they most of the time they perform well.
And how do you go about integrating tips and value into like a hotel video?
Mm, Usually, if you see my videos, I will first give them like three tips. If three tips to go to, um, three tips for you to travel in Tokyo. And now that you know how to travel Tokyo, you will need a place to stay. And that's when I just show them the hotel. I think that will work better because if I just post about a hotel, the retention is a bit worse. Yes. So the more value you bring, the more people will likely to watch the video till the end and they will save it, they will share. And that's the most important thing if you're trying to grow your account.
Makes sense. And I guess every hotel will be at a new location, and you can always do like a top three things to do at this location.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of ways to tell a story in a 1 minute frame. Yeah.
Okay. And then how do you guys go about the YouTube video? Because YouTube is completely different style and strategy. What's your strategy for YouTube?
For YouTube, we do a lot of itineraries on YouTube and shopping videos because they tend to perform well. And usually we plan YouTube before the trip, so we already know what we're going to film. For strategy, um, we try to post at least 15 minutes because people like it when it's longer. And usually it's just like a daily travel vlog. It's not too edited, it's not like too scripted, but we do add some storytelling. So if I'm visiting like a historic place, I try to tell them like what's behind it. So I feel like I'm trying to be like the virtual tour guide, and also just letting them know what they will experience and what they will expect when they visit a certain place.
Oh, okay. So I guess the YouTube is more of like a virtual tour guide. It'll probably a lot of videos will be based on search. So you'll get a lot of search traffic, people searching up that specific sort of location. And I guess the goal would be to produce videos with more value for that same location because there'll probably be 50 other YouTubers talking about, say, Mount Fuji or some historic site. Your goal would be sort of, I guess, the most valuable content for that specific location.
Yeah, we try to give a lot of tips, especially in our previous China content, because we do realize traveling China has so many challenges. Like even before you start, you don't really get a lot information about China on the media. And when you're there, you don't get unlimited access to global internet. We struggled quite a bit on that. Yeah, so we try to give tips based on our experience. Yeah, and we do tell people about the culture shocks that we have whenever we travel. And I think people really like to learn about those stuff.
I see. So it'd be like a YouTube video saying um, top 5 things we struggled with in China, something like that.
We don't really use the title. Usually the title is just like itinerary, but along the way I'll tell them like, oh, this happened, this happened. Like when we went to the Avatar Mountains, I told them, oh, turns out it's just so crowded here. Like people just post pretty pictures of this place. No one tell us that it's hard for you to even walk because of how crowded it was.
Yeah. Do you find that a lot of your YouTube viewers came from your TikTok or Instagram, or did they just discover you on YouTube?
I think not a lot came from TikTok or Instagram. Because in YouTube, you can see the analytics, and most of them are from YouTube search.
Ah, I see. Another question I had, like for example, when I go to Japan, do you use like a travel credit card? Like I was planning to use like a Wise card and pre-purchase Japanese currency into the card, and I guess then I can simply just use it like a normal. What's the best way, or should I bring USD cash and convert it at the airport? What's the best way to be prepared when it comes to currency?
I think Wise Card is really good. I used to use Wise Card, but then I don't know what happened. They just don't have it anymore in my region. Yes, so I lose my Wise Card. Now I'm using another card from OCBC, and it works exactly like Wise. You can buy foreign currencies, and you can just tap, which I think that is the best way because you don't really want to bring a lot of cash. Let me think. For Japan, you still need cash, probably like 50-50, 50% cash, 50% card. Because I don't know if the people that listen have been to Japan, but there's a lot of food places where they only accept cash and you only buy from the machine. Is it going to be your first time to Japan or?
First
Oh,
time.
it's going to be your first time. Okay. So a little tip, you will need a few cash, but Wise, I think Wise has a really good currency change. Like it's like so close to Google, probably only like 1 point difference. So it's good to use Wise and you can connect to your Apple Pay, right?
Oh, I did not know that.
You can. And it's easier that way because you can just use your phone. And in Japan, they support Apple Pay. So probably you can set that up before you go. And if you don't have Wise in your region, you can just, OCBC has a program where you can have a card and you can have multiple currencies and they have Japanese yen and try to have a travel credit card. We do have one now with HSBC, but we think the mouse is a bit slow, so we are changing to a bank in Indonesia. I don't think they have it other places. So wherever you are, try to find, if you're traveling, if you're a frequent traveler, try to find a credit card because collecting points is quite good. And especially some of the credit cards, they can give you free launch, um, free upgrade in your plane, that's super nice.
Okay. And with the credit card, like I have like the American Express credit card. I know if I internationally use it, there'll be like a 2 to 3% fee for international. Plus, I think the currency conversion is probably not the best, but I guess with it, I get access to a lounge for free.
You
I
can
guess.
collect your miles too.
I
I
see.
think that's like the main thing because with miles you can redeem as tickets, like free tickets.
Got it. So I guess you'll be using the travel credit cards to purchase the flight tickets, but once you're in the country, you'll probably use like a Wise or like the other one.
Yeah, like yeah, Wise is quite good.
Okay. And then I guess with the Wise, if I buy some Japanese currency, yen, when I'm in Japan, can I withdraw yen from an ATM using the Wise card?
I think you can. Yeah, previously I don't have the card. I only do it via Apple Pay. So I'm not too sure, but maybe you can try. Yeah.
I guess I should bring some Australian dollars just in case I need to convert if I don't have any. Okay. And do you like to convert your money the moment you land in the airport, or do you get to your accommodation somehow using Apple Pay and pay for Uber and then convert it at the nearest city where it might be a better conversion rate? When do you like to convert your currency?
Usually before we go, we prepared some,
Oh,
yeah, like a little bit in case we need cash along the way. And once we're in the city, then we will convert the money because actually, the money changers in airports, they're not really good, like the conversion rate. So you really need to find a good brand that has a good conversion rate.
wow. So that means it's a good idea for me to convert some yen while I'm in Australia and just carry yen
Yeah.
beforehand.
Yeah, probably just a little bit in case you need. Because I do think Japan is not as cashless as some parts of the world.
Got it. And then I guess how much would be safe? Should I convert 50 US dollars, 100 US dollars? How much should I convert into yen?
I think if you only need one day, probably 50 to 100 will be more than enough.
I
Because
see.
food there is not too expensive. I think for 6, 7 US dollars, you get really decent like rice bowl.
Hmm. And I guess when I get there, hopefully my Wise card works and I can just withdraw yen as needed and I won't need to use the backup cash.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay. And then you talked about you used to use HSBC, but it was slow? Or what do you mean by it was slow?
The miles conversion is not as much. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So right now I'm actually applying for
Oh.
another credit card, the one that will give me Chris Flyer miles. Yes, but still waiting for that. I don't know if I can get it before I go to Japan, but that's fine.
And then tell me about eSIMs. How does eSIM work? Because I do have like the iPhone 15. It has an Australian SIM card in it. Yeah, I never tried using eSIM before. How does eSIM work?
Oh, it's so easy. You download an eSIM app. For me, I always use an eSIM brand called Nomad.
Hmm.
Yes, and they're quite affordable as well. And you just download the app, you purchase like any online purchase you do, and actually they will just guide you step by step, and you just apply and then install the eSIM, and then it will you. I think in your iPhone there's like a cellular or something, and there's wait, let me see, and you can just change. Like I have a bunch of eSIMs here, and you just change. You can just change
Oh,
which eSIM you want to use when, but you change it when you arrive in the country.
I
But
see.
it's good because you can really connect to internet as soon as you land. Like you don't need to wait. Usually, the traditional way you will have to arrive at the airport, finish immigration, finish taking your luggage from the baggage, and then after that you will buy a SIM card. But with eSIM, you can use it really fast.
Yeah. And then how do you go about, like, I know I'll be in Japan for like, say, 21 days. There's like unlimited data, there's like 10 gigabytes, 20 gigabytes, 5 gigabyte option for 21 days. How do you know how much data you need when traveling?
Mm, usually, I think I will just buy 10
Mm,
because you have Wi-Fi in your hotel.
mm.
Yeah. But in China, I think I buy a lot. And by the way, if you go to China, if you use an eSIM, you can access global internet. Yes, because if you use an eSIM, you will have the network of the provider of the eSIM. So if your eSIM is from Hong Kong, then you'll have like a Hong Kong network. It's like that. I think that's how it works, at least.
Got
Yeah,
it.
I don't know. Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong.
And I guess eSIM is something that everyone from all over the world, they can buy it locally in their home country because it'll probably be cheaper, and then activate it a day before or something, or activate it when they get to the country. That's probably the most efficient way.
You can install it first and activate it once you arrive.
I see.
Mhm.
Very
Yes,
cool.
but I do recommend doing eSIM because I think it's a game changer. It's so fast, so easy, and it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah, I used to have to like change a SIM card, and now if I get a verification code to my phone number, it doesn't work because it's a new phone number. Oh, with the eSIM, let's say you change to the Japan phone number. If I needed a verification code to my Australian phone number, will I still receive it or do I need to switch back?
Now you can turn on two providers, so your SIM card and your eSIM. Yes,
Wow, I didn't know that. That's so cool.
but for eSIM, usually you don't have a phone number.
Oh, I
You
see.
just get the data. Yeah,
Got
which I don't think I really need phone numbers. In
Yes,
some countries you might need, but in Japan you'll be fine without it.
I see. And then is it possible to have two eSIMs on at the same time, or is it only one eSIM at a time?
One eSIM at a time, I think. But if you have a SIM card, you can still turn it on.
Okay.
So one SIM card and one eSIM.
I see. And given that you use a lot of eSIMs, Vanessa, do you still have a physical SIM card for your local country, or you use an eSIM for your local country as well?
Sometimes I still buy because I need it for the TikTok location. Yeah, so TikTok you how to say this, but you post based on your location, and the best way is if you have a SIM card of that country, then you will get the location of the country. Yes. So I do still buy a SIM card, but if it's quite expensive, then I'll buy a little bit of data just to get the location. Then I still buy eSIM to save money.
Oh, and then I guess what country do you try to get location from? Is it from Indonesia? Is that where you try to get your TikTok, or do you buy a US SIM because you want US audience? Where about do you try to get your location?
It depends on which country content that I'm posting. So if I'm posting Indonesia content, it's best to have an Indonesia SIM card. Yeah, if Taiwan, it's Taiwan. If it's Japan, it's Japan.
And then I guess when you go to Japan, you'll buy a physical SIM card for that purpose, then I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, and then does that mean if you have a backlog of Japan content and you come back to Indonesia, you put in the Japanese SIM card to post the Japanese content in Indonesia?
Yeah, I used to do that.
Oh.
Yes. Or you can use a VPN too, but sometimes VPN will mess with your TikTok. Yeah, so it's better if you have a SIM card.
So you put in the SIM card and then that's all you need to do, and now you'll get Japanese audience even though you're in Indonesia.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I didn't know that's such a cool trick.
Yeah, that works for me, but it doesn't work for the Singapore content. Yes.
Mm.
But for Japan and Korea, it works.
I see. And I guess simple iPhone. Do you use an iPhone for that?
Hmm.
Oh, wow. And then that's so cool. I guess I need to also start because I still use an Australian SIM card. I might search to see if there's any cheaper eSIM card in Australia for just day to day use when I'm at home. Does that mean you're always changing phone numbers, Vanessa, or do you have one consistent Indonesian phone number?
Because I just moved back to Indonesia, so I changed my phone number in Indonesia. But I only use that. I use another phone for the other SIM cards.
I
Yes.
see. Makes sense.
Yeah, because iPhone can only allow you to use one SIM card.
Yeah, makes sense. So I guess if I convert to an eSIM card in Australia, I need to figure out how to transfer my phone number over to the eSIM, but it might be cheaper. Oh, that's so cool. I didn't know that. Thanks for sharing that, Vanessa.
Hmm? No worries.
Last two questions that we usually wrap up this podcast with. One, any recent discoveries that you've implemented to your day-to-day life, Vanessa?
Hmm. Recent discovery? Hmm. I couldn't think of anything for now. Do you have an example?
I guess for me, I've been I've been meditating throughout the day, trying to sort of stay present. There's this exercise where there's this blissfulness when you're sort of really calm and present, and you can feel that bliss. So I'm trying to integrate that bliss throughout my day, and that's what I've been practicing recently. And I discovered that from a book I was reading. So that's something recent. Let me think. Maybe there's a traveling. Is there anything I've been recently implementing when traveling? I always use a checklist, a travel checklist when I travel, and every time I travel, if I lose anything or I forgot something, I'll add it to the checklist. And every time I travel, I guess I print out the checklist and I go through it, and usually that covers everything I need. So that's another thing I've implement for traveling. And I guess the list keeps growing. And I guess I have a section for just like international travel, camping, local traveling. So based on what the situation is, I'll just get that checklist and I'll print it out and I'll go through it. And it really helps me pack quicker and pack without anxiety.
Yeah, that's true. There's always this like anxiety where you forget something. Yeah. Hmm. Recent discovery. Probably for me, these days I've been quite into supplements.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I do think they help because when you're traveling, you're in a new place, you're probably a bit more tired, your body needs adjusting. So I take vitamin C, vitamin B complex, and then fish oil, and sometimes garlic oil. So yeah, it's like a mini pharmacy that I take with me whenever I go. And in Japan, actually, there's a lot other more supplements which I'm interested to buy when I'm there. Yeah, probably that. It really do make a difference if you eat any supplements or you don't.
And what have the differences you've noticed?
Um, I think I recover faster because especially during filming days, sometimes we can go as early as like 8 or 7 a.m. and we arrive home at 10 p.m. And for me, that's very tiring, especially if you're vlogging, because it's it's like I have to be alerted all the time and I have to smile in front of the camera all the time. And sometimes because of our busy itinerary, we don't eat at the time we should eat. We ate late, or we sometimes we even skip one meal just to finish the content. And I think I'm thankful that I'm never sick during my travel. So yes, it's important to eat your supplements. And oh, I think I actually did get got sick last time is when in September I went to China. I got food poisoning in the first day and I didn't bring any medicine. So probably that's a recent discovery. Next time prepare your like simple medicine like for tummy ache, for diarrhea, and for headache. I think those are the essential things because you never know if you have food poisoning or if you're not feeling well, it will really help.
Yeah, I never thought of that. I might need to add it to my checklist. Are there specific medicine for, I get food poisoning, or is it just Panadol, paracetamol, just for painkillers, or is it something specific for belly?
I think there's a few, yes, but I don't know what it's called because we bought it here in Indonesia.
I see.
And yes, you should buy that definitely. Because last time it was pretty weird. We got food poisoning in Singapore,
What?
and because we were transiting in Singapore, we were staying in Changi Airport, and it got pretty bad at night, and everything was closed, like 7-Eleven and pharmacy. That's when we realized, like, why don't we bring anything with us?
Okay.
Yeah, and we ended up going to the clinic, and uh, I couldn't even walk. Like we needed a wheelchair because I don't have energy. I fainted in the room. Yeah, and we had to take me. There's a clinic in Changi Airport. That's like a good tip to know.
Yeah. And I guess which medicine would have solved that? Like a painkiller, a stomach ache? What would have solved that problem?
I think it should be like an anti-vomiting because the problem is I couldn't eat or even drink because anything I consume, I will just like puke it out. And that led me to have like no energy and dehydration. Yeah. So if I had anti-vomit from like the first thing, I at least I will have energy because what killed me is when the doctor gave me IV, then I finally have energy to walk. And they also give me an anti-vomit so I can eat.
I
Yeah, so
see.
probably you'll need anti-vomit as well.
Got it. So I guess for most travelers, you recommend anti-vomit. What else? What other medication would you recommend to bring?
Like a diarrhea medicine. I don't know. I'm sure everyone has it in their places, and also headache.
Headache.
Headache is quite important because you can get headache easily, I think. What else? Probably that's like the main thing. And also if you have ibuprofen, yes.
Mm.
Probably some flu medicine, because I do think it's easier to catch a cold these days. And especially if later you're traveling to Japan, the weather's going to be cold. And I think in Australia it's summer now.
Hmm.
So yeah, there will be a big shift to your body. So
Got it. And I guess that flu medicine is that antiprofen? Is that flu or is that antiprofen for something else?
for flu medicine,
You know how you said antiprofen? What's that for?
I don't really know what's antiprofen.
Oh, I
Yeah,
thought you
but
said something similar. Okay.
yeah, usually because I have a friend that's a pharmacist,
Mm.
usually I just ask her and she'll write me a recipe like buy this and I'll just buy.
Got it. So I guess four things: anti-vomit, diarrhea, headache, and flu.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you for that tip. And now I got my Wise card, so I'm gonna add in some Japan. I'm also gonna convert some Japanese currency before I leave, $50 as you recommended. And I'll probably figure out the eSIM, get an eSIM beforehand. So thanks for those tips. It was perfect timing. I wasn't expecting to get advice on the Japan trip, but a lot of the questions really helped me. So thank you.
No worries. Oh, you probably need a MRT card as well.
What's the MRT card? Is that the
The
travel
subway
card?
card. The
Subway.
subway card. Yeah, and I think I don't know if you can get it in the city, so try to get it in the airport once you land.
Ooh.
Yes, because last year when I go there was a shortage of the MRT card, and I think we pre-book it on Klook.
And then, is that different to the JR pass, or is it the same?
It's different. Yeah, so in Japan there's a few train companies. JR is another company, and most JR trains it's for intercity, not intercity, like city to city travel. They also have subway. Yes. How do I explain this? But for city to city, intercity, you will need like a subway pass. It's called a Suica, Suica. But I think in other cities it's also called Ikoka, Ikoka or Suica. You can get it in airports, most airports. I think it's super important because that's how you travel by subway and buses. So try to get it before you go to the city, I think, or if you can get it on Klook and pick up by the airport, that's even better.
Oh, okay. And so there's the MTR, there's a Swicer, there's a JR. Do I have to get all three, or do I just get one, or what's? And which one do I get?
Uh, just the IC, any IC card.
I
They
see.
can work on all. Yeah.
Oh, so the IC card will work on everything.
Yes, but not city to city. So JR Pass is for city to city only.
See.
Yeah, and I don't know if you are planning to book a JR Pass, but they're quite expensive. Yeah, and you use it only, and they're limited. It's only like 6 days, 7 days, right?
Yeah.
Uh, Make sure you have the correct route because you don't need the all in one Japan JR Pass. I think it's quite hard for you to travel like from here to here in a week.
Yeah.
Probably you can get like the Sapporo to Tokyo one. I forgot what's the name because I'm also going to purchase that one.
Okay. Klook, get an IC card, IC card, because they might be out of stock in the airport.
Mm.
Okay. And then yeah, I'm doing a Sapporo to Tokyo.
And
Is it?
make sure you activate your JR pass for the days you're going to travel like from city to city fast. That's how you make the best of it. If you only go to Sapporo to Tokyo, you just buy a one-way ticket. But if you're going to stop along the way, then you can buy a JR pass.
And if I stop along the way, is it much more expensive to do just one ticket at a time? Do I save a lot of money?
Much more expensive. Yeah. Yeah. So it's better to buy GR Pass. And um, it's quite hard to navigate the high-speed trains. Uh, first, last time I was there, I think we missed two trains. But because we have the JR Pass, you can just hop on the next train. But if you don't, then I think you need to rebuy your ticket, which is super expensive.
Wow. And with the JR pass, do you buy that before you go to Japan or when you're in Japan?
Before, we also buy it from Klook.
Oh, okay, Klook. And then do you have any discount codes? Any affiliate codes?
I do, but I don't know if because you're from Australia, I don't know if you can use, but you can try to redeem.
Okay.
So you guys can get up to 8% off on Klook if you use these codes. There's two codes. First one is KLOOKXNESSA, and second one is NESSAHUANGGKLOOK. I'll spell it out loud. It's KLOOKXNESSA. That's the first code. Second code is NESSAHUANGGKLOOK. So you can get up to 10% off, and you can redeem it now and use it anytime you check out. So it's good that you can redeem like anytime, and whenever you check out, it will like automatically add. Yes, and you can use it in even like Universal Studios, Disneyland, Disney Sea. So I think it's a pretty good deal.
And Vanessa, out of curiosity, do a lot of your viewers use the Klook code? Is it popular? Is it in your bio on TikTok? And does it get a lot of traffic, the affiliate link?
Um, it's not in my bio, but I post a lot of content about the the codes, and yes, they work quite well.
Oh.
Because even for me, once I used up all my codes and I need to buy something, I will find other creators' codes because I think it's a really good deal if you have a discount code.
That
And
makes
there's a lot of codes. And probably if you cannot use, because my code is Singapore and Taiwan based, you can find like Australian creators.
Oh, I see. And they'll probably have it. Out of curiosity, like for the Klook program, it's just affiliate programs, right? They don't really offer like paid like spokesman. It's all just affiliate that Klook does, right? For creators.
They have a lot of programs like contests and also like mystery trips. Actually, they have a lot of things for creators. Yeah.
Have you
It's
been?
not it's not just the affiliate.
I see. Yeah, I think I saw something. They had like a Japan sort of program. I applied for it just because I have a bit of following on TikTok. But they didn't get to me. I didn't get back to me, so I guess I wasn't successful. Um, do you apply for their programs and have you had any luck with them, Vanessa?
Actually, quite a few. In this Japan trip, they did sponsor me for Shinkansen. And also, I think when I went to Korea, they sponsored me for a trip.
Wow, that's so cool. Okay, I guess I have to keep trying again.
Yeah,
Um,
you can keep trying because Klook is very generous with travel creators, but I don't know, non-travel, I don't know if they work with non-travel or no.
that makes sense, yeah, because maybe my content on TikTok isn't travel focused. But yeah, thanks for those tips. I definitely wrote it down. I'm probably gonna get the goggles, gloves, face mask for snow. I'm gonna pre-book the IC card, and I'll look into buying the JR pass for Sapporo to Tokyo for those. Because I think if I'm on the, but I guess I'll probably leave Sapporo maybe on the 20th. So I guess I only need like a 7 day pass or something. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And once you bought the JR pass online, you still need to pick it up in the airport. There's like a train locket. I think they will write it down like to pick up your JR pass. And be careful because the JR pass is not even a card. It's just like a coupon, like a small coupon. So don't ever lose that.
No.
Yeah, I think they wrote it. If you lose this, then yeah, you won't get anything.
An IC card is it? I guess it'll be like a few dollars to buy the IC card.
Yeah, I don't think it's expensive. And you just top up in any machine, like or any convenience store.
Did you top it up before or after you went to Japan?
After, so once you still need to pick up the card in the airport and you just top up. There's a lot of top up machine.
I see. And did you pick up your?
That's probably where you need your cash. I don't remember if you can top up with card or no, but I remember we do it by cash. That's why it's good to have a bit of cash.
Did you pick up the IC card and JR pass at that same location?
No, it's different. I think there's a Klook booth to pick up the um what is called like the IC card, but for the JR pass it's different.
I see. Got it.
So you'll be quite busy the first hour, I think.
Yeah, yeah. So many things to do. Okay, I added to my list. Last question, Vanessa. Any personal goals or focus for the next 6 months that's not business related?
Hmm. Okay. Personal goals is so I used to journal
Mm.
when probably 2 years ago, but I stopped because it's you don't get the time to do it and it's quite a task. But I wish I journal more because it's fun to read it, reread it after a long time. And I do want to remember this phase in my life where I'm just like this transition, but I didn't journal all of them. So I do wish next year I will journal more. Other than that, also read more because I used to read a lot of books, but I don't know what happened this year. I got too tired, especially if I'm traveling, because I think when you read, it had to be a habit. Like you have to do it every day so you don't stop or cut the chain. But when you're traveling a lot, it's hard to have a habit, this type of habit. Like you're too tired at night to just use your brain for me. And I ended up just watching Netflix every night, which I'm not too proud of. Yeah, so that's probably the personal goal is to journal and read more.
That's awesome. Yeah, I guess especially with you when you have a very tight travel schedule, I would have always imagined you would go home to the hotel, knock out, and wake up early because you have another full day. But it seems like you have some time to wind down, watch a movie. Is that usually the case?
Mm, yes, I think for me, I have to watch something to fall asleep.
Mm.
Yes, and I just love it. It's like a hobby to me to watch movies, Netflix, or just TV shows. And I do it every night. And even if I'm super tired, like 10 minutes will be enough.
I see.
Yeah.
So,
Do you have any personal goals?
I think for the next 6 months, I was going to say YouTube, but I guess that's more business related. So I guess if it was more personal, I think it'll probably be practicing that exercise of sort of really trying to focus on that blissful feeling and sort of try to integrate that throughout my day to day and constantly bring back to that feeling of bliss and presentness. And I really want to keep practicing that. I've been doing calisthenics exercise, so I want to keep focusing on that and maybe go a bit harder on that, especially for the Japan trip. I want to, I guess, because I know I'm not going to be exercising when I'm traveling, so maybe try to get ahead and make up for it and do a bit more exercising before I leave. So I think those will probably be my two personal goals, yeah.
So interesting. So you're trying to like meditate more.
Yeah, and meditate throughout the day, like I guess even now, sort of focusing on that feeling of presentness, blissfulness. So it's like a
Being mindful. Yeah.
so constant meditation throughout the day, not literally like closing my eyes and meditating.
I see, I see. Yeah, that's pretty good actually, because these days there's so many distractions that you end up having like five tabs open on your mind and drives you nuts.
Another thing is, so I have like my main phone and I have like an older iPhone 7. I want to try come up with like a thing where I think in the morning and night I have to use iPhone 7, which has no apps, no social media. And then I guess only once I finish my morning routine can I get access to my main phone. And then I guess may say after 7 p.m. or something, I lose access to my main phone. So I want to try create a formula for that.
Like a dopamine detox.
Yeah, and like I guess if I wake up in the morning and I only have my iPhone 7, that means I can't check Instagram, I can't check my emails. I have to go through my morning routine to get access to my phone. And then I also find myself accidentally going on TikTok or social media before sleep. So yesterday I read 3 pages of the book I was reading, and I jumped on TikTok and I was stuck on TikTok for the next half an hour. So if I had the iPhone 7, that would not happen. So maybe I lock my main phone, say at 7 p.m. or something. I don't know.
Good luck on that. That will require a lot of discipline.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's something I guess I'll try focus on. Vanessa, where can people find more of you?
Okay, so if you like prefer to watch short content, I'm on Instagram, I'm on YouTube. My handle, I'm on YouTube Shorts, I'm on TikTok, and my handle is at Nessa Huang with double G, NESSAHUANGG. Yes, and if you prefer to read, I also have a blog with the same handle plus a .com. So nessahuang.com. And if you prefer long form of content, you can find me on YouTube. And that's where you can find all of my travel stuff. And I hope you enjoy because I post really detailed and helpful, honest reviews of places that I go. So it will definitely help you if you're traveling to a certain country or a certain place, because sometimes we also go to places that not a lot of people go. And we try as much as we can to give you the tips, the things that you need to know. And also, if you're looking to travel China, we also have a China ebook, and they're pretty helpful because you will know everything from how to access the global internet, how to download the online payments, because in China it's a very cashless society. Also, like what apps to download, what to prepare before you go, how to take the public transportation, the high-speed rail. So everything you need to know, we put it there. Yes. So yeah, that's probably where you can find me.
That's awesome, Vanessa. With the ebook, is it just like a PDF with many pages with images and photos? Yeah, what does the ebook look like? Or is it like an actual book with words?
It's a PDF with a lot of words and a lot of photos. Yes. And we have like one is an all-in-one China ebook. It's the all the cities that we went to last time. It's Chongqing, Chengdu, Shanghai, and also Zhangjiajie. Zhangjiajie is where the Avatar Mountains are at. And we also have a separate one in case you only go to Chongqing and Chengdu, or you only go to Zhangjiajie. Yes, so we separate them, and the specific cities one are a lot cheaper, and The other one that has everything is a bit more expensive.
I see. And when it comes to creating the ebook, just I'm curious, how do you go about making it? Do you use like Canva? Do you use Word document? How does one go about making an ebook?
We first wrote it in Notion, and then I edited the ebook in Canva to make it prettier. Yes.
I see. That's so cool. And I guess if someone, I guess, go to China, they can get it and they'll read it and they'll get an in-depth guide on those cities. And I guess it'll be more organized than just watching TikToks and YouTube videos.
Yeah, definitely more organized, and uh, it's super informative, we think, because even before we go, we don't have this access to information until we're there, and because we speak the language, so we do speak to a lot of locals and ask different things. We get a lot of recommendations, and we try to write everything down when we were there, and once we go back, we wrote the ebook.
So cool. And then with your YouTube channel, do you have a separate channel for short and long form YouTube, or is it the same channel?
It's the same channel.
Nice.
Yes.
And then with all your shorts, do you just make, say, something for TikTok and then you would re-upload the same one on Instagram and YouTube Shorts? And do you do it at the same time or do you do different time?
It's the same content and we post the same time.
Nice. And I guess it's manual reposting. You don't use a software or anything, do you?
Yeah, it's manual reposting.
Oh, would you use the same caption for all the social media platforms?
Yes, slightly change, but same. But for YouTube Shorts, you cannot add the caption as long as the other platform. So it's definitely just like the title.
What's your thoughts on hashtags? Do you still use hashtags? Do they work?
Yes, definitely use hashtags.
Oh.
I think I use like 5 to 7 hashtags, and I always use them, and I don't think there's a bad side of not using them. So we just use them. It helps you get search. And I think sometimes I can see from the analytics where do people get my video. Sometimes it's from hashtags.
Oh, okay. I might need to start using hashtags then. How do you go about picking the 5 hashtags?
For me, it's the country's name. So if it's like a Japan content, a Tokyo content, it's like hashtag Tokyo, Tokyo travel, China, sorry, Japan. Yeah.
Okay. So, like, let's say my team creates a clip of you talking about eSIMs. I guess would the hashtags be just like hashtag eSIM, hashtag podcast, hashtag travel? Like, is that the correct hashtags to use for that clip, or?
Probably travel hacks, but also you need to have like a main hashtag for your podcast. Probably you will always have like hashtag podcast or the type of podcast that you post, like hashtag. I'm not too sure. Maybe it's like a advice podcast, like a motivational podcast. You can have the same hashtag all the time.
Oh, tell me about that. Is that a trick to have the same podcast consistently on all your videos to hit the same audience? Is that why?
I think, yeah. So the main purpose for hashtag is so it will be searchable. So if people search that keyword, your video or your content will pop up in the top. So make sure you have a keyword about your content, and that is where people will search that keyword, and that's where they will find you.
Oh, that's amazing. Thanks for sharing that tip, Vanessa. I'm definitely going to apply that. But yeah, thank you so much for your time today. I had such a fun conversation. I learned so much. You dropped so much value. I love how logical and sort of systematic you are. And you're really focused on giving value, and I can feel that. And I love how you're sharing behind the scenes of what it's like to travel full time, and you didn't gatekeep anything. So I really appreciate it. And I had so much fun on today's podcast.
Thank you so much for inviting me and having me. It's quite fun. It's my very first podcast ever. Yeah.
I'm glad that that's the case. Guys, if you made it this far, hopefully you guys got some value. Please let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you guys next week on another episode of the podcast. Peace.
And have fun in Japan. Let me know if you have any other questions. It's going to be your first trip. Where are you going?
I'm doing Sapporo as well.
Oh, really?
I'm gonna do Sapporo on the 19th, and I'll work my way down to Tokyo and get to Tokyo on the 27th.
Okay. So only two places or
And then on the 27th, I'll connect with family, and then I'll travel with family to Osaka, Kyoto, and spend another 1 or 2 weeks with them. And I think they planned out already, so I'm not too sure what the plan is, but yeah.
Hmm. Okay. It will be fun.
I'm
So
very.
are you going to ski in Sapporo?
Oh, I'm not too sure because I only have so I guess 19 to 27. So I only have 8 days. So I don't know if it's smart to sacrifice 1 or 2 days skiing. Um, any thoughts? Should I use 1 or 2 days to ski, or should I just go and work my way down straight away?
I think you can ski because I think everybody goes to Sapporo to ski or snowboard. Yes,
Okay.
but have you ever ski or snowboard before or
I
oh you have?
snowboarded quite a
Probably
bit.
bring your gears because like goggles, gloves, and like the face cover you cannot rent. You have to buy it. And I don't think you need too many of those things, and they're quite expensive if you buy it on the spot.
Goggles, gloves, face mask. Got it.
But for the skiing
Helmet?
equipment, helmet, helmet they can give you. Like you can rent the helmet. Yes,
Okay.
but and you can rent the outfit as well, but I think it's quite expensive. So if you already have them, you just bring it. Yeah,
Okay.
and
I
yeah,
might do
and
I might do one day, I might do one, figure out how to do. Do I have to pre-book those things, or can I land in Sapporo and figure it out?
you can land in Sapporo and figure out. There's so many ski resorts.
Okay. So I think I might land in Sapporo. I might go to a hostel, meet, maybe there might be other people doing the same thing, and or I'll just ask the reception what's the best way to spend a day skiing. Okay, you've convinced me to add in a day of skiing. Initially that wasn't in the plan, but I'm gonna do that now.
Yeah. I think everybody goes to Sapporo to ski or snowboard. That's like the main thing people do there.
I see. Okay, then I have to do that then. Okay. Thanks so much for all those tips, Vanessa. Thanks so much for your time. I think this was a very fun travel episode. I think you're the first travel sort of influencer I've had on the podcast. So I think there'll be a lot of educational clips that'll come from this. But yeah, thanks so much, Vanessa. I'll keep you updated.
No worries.
Hope you have a beautiful Christmas, holidays, New Year's.
You too. Okay. See you, Andy. Bye
See you
bye.
next time. Bye.